All right, we should be live on YouTube. If somebody wants to jump on here and talk to me in
Um,
Telegram, yep, go ahead, Brian. Hey, Brian, how are you, brother? Yep, go
yeah,
ahead, Brian. Yep. Hey,
it's
Brian, how are you, brother?
yep, it's coming through, AJ.
All right, awesome, bro, perfect. Thank you, guys. All right, so we're good, man. We have our first simulcast live here. Again, if any of you want to talk, just mute your desktop audio, so that again, there's no reverb or feedback. But yeah, let me give a quick overview, and then we'll jump right into it. So, and I am working on a screen capture, to where I can actually show Detonator. If you're on YouTube, again, this is going to be more of a podcast style AMA, but we are working on a way to show you guys what we're talking about in real time. So, for those of you that are already in Detonator, definitely join me over on the Detonator page. We have a 12-minute countdown. Today's looking really good. Again, this is EMP.Money, our daily rollover AMA and lottery drawing. This is, again, in regards to Detonator, which is our glorified ROI contract, that is a conglomeration of about 10 different ROI contracts, that we have put together to make one of the most sustainable smart contracts in existence. So our pool balance is looking really good today. Right now it's 26,051 LP. That's about 2.4 million US equivalent. And again, today's lottery winner, as well as largest depositor, is going to win 260 LP, which is just over $24,000. So again, looking really, really healthy. We are a bit under peg. Again, our protocol operates on a peg price, but we have implemented about 10 other ways to earn, even if we're below peg. So it really is not that big a deal compared to other seigniorage projects, especially now that Ethereum looks to be bouncing back a little bit, showing some life again. We just broke 2,900 for Ethereum, so that should help, again, push the price of EMP up as well. And even if the price of EMP goes up or down, the price is less of a factor of peg, and peg is more of a factor of buys and sells. So we had some whales after we had a large boardroom print. Some of the whales were dumping EMP, which is where we are now. But again, we have a lot of mechanics in place to help us push back over peg. Some of those include bonds. So bonds are now available. If you want to buy some bonds, you buy bonds at a lower rate with EMP, and then as we get back above peg, you're able to redeem bonds for a bonus. But we also have nodes. So nodes are a great way to earn anywhere between 200 and 500% APR, depending on what node you go into, and that will help us get back to peg with buying pressure, and again, no more selling of EMP on the market. For those of you that want to be a good actor and still earn, that is a perfect solution. So, all right, we also have 997 total users, so we'll see if we break 1,000 users today within the last few minutes here. So, all right, we have just under 10 minutes to go, and I'll open it up to the floor. Anybody have anything they want to comment or question before we do our 5-minute warning? Nobody? I don't know. We're on you.
Hey, AJ.
Yep. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
Hey, AJ. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey, it's Kurt from...
Hey, Kurt. Yeah, brother. Sorry, your name wasn't popping up, brother. So, yeah, how are you, man? Yeah.
Good. Greetings from Portugal. I haven't been able to attend. I've been traveling, but I'm in a single location now, and so I thought I'd get back on. Cool to see that you guys are doing YouTube as well.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, welcome back.
Thanks. I was curious about strategy, a semi-strategy question. I follow the Telegram pretty closely when I can, and I usually don't contribute over there, and I know there's been a lot of talk over the last week that I've seen with regards to 𝘰𝘠𝘬𝘯𝘠 and these whales that you were talking about and bringing us under peg. And I really don't want to. I don't have a question about that per se.
For
But
sure.
what I was wondering was, when the boardroom isn't printing, is it okay for the protocol if we move out of the boardroom and put it back into the farms, let's say, or is it really a good idea to just chill out there until it comes back to peg?
Yeah, for sure, brother. So, again, there is associated risk by removing your e-shares from the boardroom because, again, I mean, we can swing back to peg in a matter of, moments, and now, there's potentially a lockout period of adding new funds to, well, you can always add new funds to the boardroom, but taking funds out again. So, yeah, bro, I mean, I would absolutely recommend taking them out, especially if you have some free EMP. We talked about this yesterday. The EMP e-share pool is a great way to capitalize on your e-share without having a lot of risk when the boardroom isn't printing. So, yeah, I would say unstake from the boardroom and pair it up with any EMP that you may have liquid, and then go into that pool. Now, understand, with impermanent loss, you may end up getting more or less e-share or EMP when you pull out again. So there is that risk. But again, I mean, the fact that you can earn, even though the APRs are a little bit lower in that pool, you're earning something rather than nothing. Because if the boardroom's not printing, your e-shares are basically dead. So yeah, I think that's a great strategy. Again, just be aware of the time locks that incur with the boardroom.
Right.
Yeah, I've done that, AJ. I've pulled out of the boardroom, paired it up with in the farm. The only problem with that is, I mean, it is a bit risky, of course, with the impermanent loss, and there's a lot of logistics going back and forth like that. I didn't find it worth it
For sure.
because we come back to peg so quick. So I just choose now to keep it in the boardroom.
Yeah, that's a great point, Brian. And again, Kurt, you will. It's up to your tolerance. I mean, you're not hurting the protocol by any means, by just leaving the shares in the boardroom. So no matter what you do, again, really the only thing that hurts us is people literally dumping EMP. So as long as you're not doing that, then any strategy is a good strategy. So yeah, Kurt, does that help, brother?
Yeah, I think it does. I just wanted to be sure that I wasn't doing anything I didn't understand that was negative towards protocol. But
For sure.
like you said, yeah, I got my first node, so now I do have some free EMP.
Nice.
So I'm looking at different strategies that I didn't have before I had the node. So we'll see. All right, man. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, Kurt, glad to have you back, brother. And again, greetings from Portugal. That's awesome, man. So, and yeah, nodes are a great option. Again, the APRs have reduced a little bit. Remember that we updated the code to reflect us being above or below peg. So APRs on nodes go down a little bit when we're below peg. And that's just a sustainability feature, as well as an incentive for people not to continue to dump. I mean, the idea is that we maintain around peg, and the whole ecosystem functions the best that way. So, all right, here we go. We're under our 5-minute warning. Again, there may be a little bit of lag on YouTube, and feel free to drop some comments on our YouTube page as well. I'll jump back over between Telegram and YouTube for those of you that may have questions. But yeah, we have time for maybe one more quick question or comment before we count down here. But again, pool balance is looking really healthy. We've gained about 100 LP just in the last few minutes by people compounding. The largest deposit right now is 26.76 LP. We'll see if there's a double and a triple snipe. Yesterday there was a quadruple snipe. So again, I think about 55 LP took it down yesterday. Maybe a little bit more, 80. But about a safe bet is about 100 LP, 100 to 200 LP has been taking it down every day. And yeah, we're looking really good. I mean, that's again an instant ROI basically, because you're gaining about again, even at 100 LP, you're gaining about 12,000 US dollars on your winnings. So and it's really great because it incentivizes last minute volume, and again, the winnings are compounded automatically. So people aren't able to dump, but they're actually able to earn even more than they're winning. So the whole system is really incredible. For those of you that might be new, definitely read our white paper, and I'm happy to answer some more questions after the rollover as well. But we have, again, about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So anybody have anything they want to comment or ask real fast?
Don't disappoint my cat. I got to win this lottery.
Right on, Bull. Absolutely. Make sure you guys are compounding at least 0.15 LP. A little bit less if you're compounding, but if you're doing a fresh deposit, 0.15 LP, and you have at least a ticket. I mean, you gotta have a ticket to win. So yeah, good luck to everybody. And we're almost ready here. So I'll do a 1 minute warning and then a 10-second countdown. So make sure you're compounding. Awesome. Pool balance is looking really good. Continuing to see us climb back up. And remember, if you don't claim or compound, your rewards for the day are rolled back into the contract. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That helps us maintain, our sustainability, and you don't lose out on those rewards. You just lose out on the time. So again, if you didn't do it for a day, you would just have another day of ROI time added on. If you missed for a whole week, then it would be a whole week that you would have to again compound to catch up. But you're always guaranteed the 365% ROI. So, all right, here we go. Less than a minute 30 seconds, and we're almost ready. And then I'll be around again. We'll do a whole AMA after this, and hopefully we have a live lottery winner. Jesse Cox, one of our longtime members, won yesterday and celebrated with us live. So here we go. 1 minute warning. Good luck, everyone. Make sure you're compounding and up your gas if you have to. Again, we're going to make sure that the transactions go through. All right, 40 seconds. $30 seconds. $20 seconds. All right, everybody, here we go. Let's see them snipers. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Nice, big snipe cam. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's see if that snipe holds up. 87 LP. I think it might. There may have been some other smaller ones in there as well. We'll have to check on chain, but
I think 96 maybe.
Nice. All right, I think yeah. So all right, I'll look on chain and see, but I think 87 LP took it. There may have been one bigger one at the very end. For those of you that are able to check on chain, let me know. But awesome, everything looks good. Let's let the contract refresh. All right, and the pool balance looks incredible. So we gained again another about 250, more than that, 350 LP in the last few minutes there, and now we're I think that's a new all-time high for the contract balance, or pretty close to that. So right now the pool balance is 26,469 LP, and tomorrow's lottery is already 264 LP. That's 24,365 US, and we are almost there. I think we'll break 1,000 total users today in the next 24 hours. So that's a really great milestone. And again, the more total users we have, theoretically, the faster our rate of adoption will be as well. We're maintaining a very healthy pool balance while people continue to claim, and those that are claiming, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody plays the game their own way, but that gives all of us that are compounding actually a better pool share. So as you claim, remember that you're kind of being left behind, so to speak, as far as the overall pool share. So yeah, that's really, really exciting and looking extremely healthy. So now we'll jump into the AMA portion. Again, if any of you had questions or wanted me to go over anything further, I'm happy to. To recap, internally, we're working on some new contracts, another way to earn in the system. Again, we're in early stages of that. I'm not really able to publicly announce, but it will hopefully involve some sort of stable coin element. And again, we're brainstorming and putting together something that could be really, really awesome. So that's kind of what we're working on the back end. We have some UI updates that we're working on as well. We're continuing to push our marketing. Demi has secured Demi is one of our team members. He handles our Twitter. And for those of you who don't know, I didn't even know, our Twitter is fucking massive. I mean, we have like over 10,000 followers on Twitter. So Demi's been doing some major work over on Twitter. For those of you that, again, give us a follow. And yeah, he's doing an awesome job. So we're working on another YouTube partnership in regards to that. And we also are working on, I know I mentioned it in the AMA yesterday, on doing an auto compounder similar to 𝘰𝘩𝘢𝘯𝘬𝘠 or Beefy in-house, which means it would be on our platform, and then the fees would actually feed our treasury rather than a third party. And I spoke to Jake, our developer, today, and that is something that we think we can do. So again, no time frame. We're working on other contracts first, but that is something that I think we can pull off. So all right, I'll open it up to the floor. Anybody, again, comments or questions? I'm happy to hear.
Hey, AJ. Quick question on the nodes.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead, brother.
Is it would I be better off purchasing additional nano nodes, or would I be better off on the larger nodes like a mini, or up from that? What's the better strategy?
For sure, bro. So that's a great question. I think that the better strategy is to save up for a larger node. So again, depending on your situation, the larger nodes, there may be several thousand EMP between the levels, but if you're talking entry level nodes like the nano and the mini, it's always better to save up a little bit more, especially if it's only a week or a month of saving, because again, the larger nodes have a better APR, and no matter what node you go into, you're still getting a 400% ROI. So again, the percentages really don't matter, but the larger the node, the faster you're able to get that return. So that's why the APRs are higher. Again, APR is a function of time and return. So it's a little bit, again, complicated to show that in the UI, but the higher node levels are higher APRs, even though technically you're getting the same return on your investment. So yeah, again, it's up to you, but it's better always to save up for the larger nodes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, brother. Great question. All right.
Hey, AJ, could I add a little bit to that node?
Yeah,
Because we had a discussion with a few people today.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
Thank you. Every step up in a node is about a step up of 9% efficiency. So, you can factor that like into your calculation if, if you think it's better to wait or to buy right now. But when you go from 500 to 1,000, and I'm sorry, I don't know the names. It's nano, mini, kilo, mega, and giga, if I recall correctly. But
Correct.
each step, okay, thank you. Each step up is basically a 9% increase in efficiency. So when you go from nano to mini, your payback time to get to that 400% ROI is 9% quicker. So.
Yep, that's awesome. Thank you for again putting that in. Our the white paper is a little bit vague on that. I'm going to try to update it to give hard numbers, but yeah, it's again, it's more about an efficiency rate. Bull, you have a great a way of explaining it in terms of a river. I don't know if you want to go into that real fast.
Yeah, sure. And to give credit where it's due, that the math that the 9% comes from Paulus, who's in the chat. So if you give him a shout out, he's the one that came up with the math. So but yeah, so if you think of, if there are 5 different streams of water, right? Like, let's say they all empty into a lake. There are 5 different flow rates, and they'll empty into the lake, in different spots, let's say. But the lake, in this analogy, is your wallet, your wallet in the node section. But so each different node is a different little river that is emptying in. So it's just like a matter of flow rate. The little tiny stream puts a little bit less water in than the biggest stream, and then there's a variance in between. But it's just so I'm not doing a very good job explaining this.
No,
but
that's good, man. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Go
ahead. So that little river, in relation to the size against the big river, if the big river was 16 times smaller, the big one, the giga, is still faster, because its flow rate is just a little bit faster. And that's why I tried to say, the flow rate of each node, the payback time to get to that ROI is a 9% increase in efficiency. So from nano to mini is a 9% upgrade in efficiency. So it's pumping in 9% more EMP to your wallet than the other one. So it's going to reach that 400% ROI just 9% quicker.
Totally.
Does that help?
Yep. Go ahead, Brian.
So, Paul, if I had bought 2 nanos, which
Yes.
equal 1,000, which equal a mini.
Yeah. It doesn't equal. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yep. Go ahead and finish.
Are you saying that still would be 9% less than a mini?
Yes.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, because the flow rates are static, right? Sort of, because as AJ mentioned, that was something that I believe got changed, was the APR fluctuation based on below or above peg. But the output size really is always the same. It's just that multiplier, it might kick out a little touch more. But the reality is the nano can only output so much, and then the mini is 9%, more than that one, and then the next step up, the kilo is 9% greater, and so on and so forth.
Do we know what that would relate to in time? So, for example, if you bought 2 nanos at 500 each, that's 1,000, and you bought 1 mini at the same time, with the 9% factor on the mini, how much faster to ROI are we talking?
Well, if you said, and these numbers aren't right, but if you said it was 100 days for you to get payback on the nanos, you would do it in 91 days on the mini, because it's 9% faster. Got it. And the 100 days isn't right, mind you, because I'm just using 100 because it's easy to do the math in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, makes great. Thank you, Bull. Thank you, AJ.
Yeah, no,
Yep,
absolutely.
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you're welcome. So like the difference was like now a giga would be 36 times faster. So
yeah, difference there.
or excuse me, 36% faster. So
Yeah, 36%, not times, because that was why we did the math. Yeah, we did the math the way we did it, based on time, because it is a little more fair to minnows. I mean, the idea is that we want to incentivize you to save up for a larger node, but we don't want the benefit to outweigh so greatly that you're actually getting a multiplier on the amount that you're able to get back. So again, that's why it's a flat 400% ROI no matter what node you go into. So it does level the playing field a little bit more, but incentivizes people to hold on and save up for the larger nodes. So, and again, I mean, the nodes are very, very beneficial, especially when we're under peg, because and even when we're over peg, it gives people a reason, not to dump their EMP if they're a good actor. Again, there's really no reason. You actually earn more by not selling and going into a node than you would just dumping. So now it's just a matter of educating people on that. And again, I think that we're in a really good spot. And nodes are revolutionary to the seigniorage platforms. I mean, we started with Detonator, the ROI contract on top. No other seigniorage project ever did that. I mean, we could have launched Detonator on our own and had a whole separate project that was just Detonator, but to include it on top of a seigniorage project is really, really exciting, and again, furthers our use case. And then nodes was again another thing on top of that, and we have about 4 or 5 more things in the works to add even more utility and use case for EMP. Because the idea is you give everybody as many reasons as possible to hold on to EMP and to help us grow as an ecosystem. So yeah, we're excited. So all right, Shaquille Oatmeal, what's up, brother? I think it was your turn, man. Was it you? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. All right, brother, go ahead.
I was just going to simplify what Bull was saying with his whole analogy.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Everything. The way I look at it is with the nodes, like if you stack them, like you've got your 5 streams, right? Your smallest stream is obviously your mini node, right? So you take 2 mini nodes and you stack them, as opposed to getting 1 nano. You've just doubled the width of that stream, but it's still flowing at the same rate, right? So you have 1,000 EMP that's flowing at 0.76. when you can have 1,000 EMP that's flowing at, I think it's 0.84 right now. Just to, make it a little bit simpler, I guess you could say.
For sure. And again, the idea is, you keep compounding into nodes and build, a passive, another passive income machine, basically. And it's beneficial to the protocol because, and again, inflation definitely comes into play, and that's something that we can turn off. The acquisition of new nodes if we have to, but the idea of why nodes are so beneficial, not only is it a way for people not to dump EMP, but it also meters out the emittance of EMP. So basically, you're able to calculate how much EMP is being released from nodes, and it makes it to where there's not a big, a huge dump on the market. Again, I mean, we've seen that with the boardroom a little bit, and there were some misconceptions about our recent partnership with 𝘪𝘯𝘵. I mean, that the whole partnership, in my eyes, went exactly how we were anticipating. Because being involved in Genesis, we were printing at 1.1, almost 1.1 peg for like 48 hours. Because a lot of that EMP was locked up in Genesis. So again, people only focus on the negatives, not the positives. But what the dump came from, and why we're back down below peg right now, was the massive boardroom print. I mean, the boardroom was printing at 5,000% APR. That is fucking unheard of in a seigniorage project that is 2.5 months old. So that's where it came from. I mean, that people that were in the boardroom got greedy and and dump that EMP, and that's why we went back down. It had nothing to do with the Burr partnership. So again, just so we're clear on that, and again, the on-chain data, backs up that statement as well. But we will. I mean, every partnership we do moving forward will be calculated. We definitely learn some things, and we would never ever do a partnership or anything that would jeopardize our community. So please understand that. I get it, and I would want all of you to hold our feet to the fire, so to speak, when it comes to that. But yeah, so again, just want to kind of sorry for the little rant there, but wanted to clear some things up, and yeah, so absolutely, Shaquille. So again, it's about nodes are about again setting up another passive income machine for everybody, and they're very powerful if you use them correctly.
So I just want to say one more thing too. You guys have been killing it with everything. The whole project is awesome, but nodes, man, they're great no matter what. Regardless of whatever the ROI is, however long it takes, you're getting 400% guaranteed, and that is awesome.
Yeah, brother.
So if you're in for the long term, you got the long term mindset. I mean, that's amazing, especially if you're stacking gigas.
Exactly, bro. That really is the play. I mean, again, I understand everybody is bound to their investment levels, but again, the more you save up and the more you go back into it, the people that are good actors and doing the right thing and not dumping EMP over the long run, they're rewarded the most, which is also another amazing way that the seigniorage projects work, which is what we are at our core. The good actors and people that aren't dumping are ones that are benefited, because again, I mean, even with there was probably about 100K worth of EMP that was dumped within a day of yesterday and the day before that. So those people that are dumping EMP, they're essentially selling their ownership of the platform. So yeah, it's a bummer, short term. Obviously, you want to be above peg, but for those of us that are here long term and know the potential of where we are, in 6 months to a year, you want to see people dumping, because again, it makes it to where your bags have more of a weight in the system. So again, it's all about perspective, and we're all about positivity and positive mindsets here. So if you get bummed out about being below peg, then you may want to just kind of take a step back and come back later. So all right, awesome, guys. Any other questions, concerns?
If I could just follow up something with nodes, because I want to kind of pound the message home to people, is this idea that nodes have like multiple beneficial like kind of attributes to protect the system, because theoretically you're creating a wall against EMP being sold outside of the system, where it's going to suck value out of the ecosystem, and that going to drive down the price of EMP and knock you below peg. So the real key here is that it's a matter of how people treat that EMP. Do you use it as gas to power your car to get to work, or do you sell the gas out of your car so that you can buy a cheeseburger? Now, that's a ridiculous example, but that's effectively what's happening when you sell your EMP, because you have the ability to protect the price and keep it above peg. And a lot of people will say, well, what do I do with the spare EMP? Well, that's what eShare is for. If you're producing $10 in EMP, you should be producing $20 in profit, in eShare, so that you can pair up that $10 in EMP and the $10 in ETH that you got from selling eShares, and then you will have $20 in LP, in EMP ETH LP, which then you can stick in the farm or the detonator, your call. But you're building your LP position with really effectively pure profit generated in the system that you don't have to put extra money into. And so when you do that LP is going to grow, in value over time if you put it in Detonator or if you put it in an EMP ETH farm. And, you're going to say, well, you have that extra $10. Well, if you're banking $10 in profit in eShare every day, there's a possibility, if eShare, so eShare is 465 right now, and if you banked $10 in eShare value every day, and it went up to $4,650, well then that's not a $10 day in value of eShare, it's a $100 day. And I'll just dovetail into one last story. Like when I got into the crypto space, I was Bitcoin mining and arbitrage trading, just buying low, selling high on exchanges. And you back in the day, you used to move in and out of exchanges for less than a penny. There was no fees. And so my goal was to increase like my Bitcoin holdings by $20 in value every day. And I would sit, I was always going to be by my computer. My friends would say, "Oh, you're wasting your day sitting in front of your computer for $20 in gains." Well, the thing is that Bitcoin then was $1,000, when it, so it's 40,000 now. A 40x increase on a $20 increase is an $800 day, plus all of the time in between then where Bitcoin can, you could have done something with that value. So it's best to look at these things like from the perspective of, you have a little snowball and you're rolling it down the hill, and it has a potential to get large. Now, it has a potential to break into a lot of little pieces also. But if you don't have the little snowball, you're guaranteed not to have the big snowball on the bottom of the hill. And so if you just bank a little bit of profit in eShares and then always try to build that EMP ETH LP position, I think we all believe that ETH ETH, Ethereum, ETH, whatever you want to call it, is going to be worth more in the future than it is right now. So if you're increasing that position, and I like to use $10 like that because that is a semi-realistic value for most people, that you can see those type of gains. You don't need to have $100,000 on the platform to do that. And so if you just bank a little bit, and you have the belief, not just blind faith, but like you've been in the space long enough to realize like, oh, Ethereum, it should go up in value. It's a good reason to, just bank a little bit every day. And, the real world analogy is like, you should be putting a little bit of your paycheck away every day for a rainy day. And the difference here is like you don't have to stick it under your mattress and wait for the rainy day. Like you can stick it in the farm or in the detonator, and it's going to grow. Versus that money, if you put it in the bank or under your mattress, like it doesn't grow. Here it grows. So stick a little. If you can, make your own choices, but try to stick a little bit away every day into that LP, and then try to gain a little bit of eShare in value every day. That's it, people. So good luck with that.
Yeah, awesome, Bull. No, bro, that's great advice from one of our, OG community members, and it's true. I mean, even if you were to shave, right now the dollar value is like $15. So if you're able to shave enough every day off your eShare earnings to where, you're able to get about 0.15 LP, and then you put that in the detonator. Now, not only are you building your liquidity position, but now you're getting a free lottery ticket every single day, and do that for a week, a month, a year. The power of compound interest is just insanity when it comes to what the different contracts that we build here. So yeah, and again, one last thing on nodes. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I just want to reiterate. So there's really nodes are a great alternative or even supplement because I don't really want to say one is better than the other, but bonds, as far as bonds and nodes. So bonds are attractive because when we get back above PEG substantially, not only are you exposed to the price appreciation of EMP going up. So again, if we're below PEG, say theoretically, EMP is 70 cents. You buy a bond at 70 cents, and then EMP goes up to 80 cents. Now we're at 1.1 PEG, and you gain, 10 cents per EMP. So you get to capitalize on that price appreciation, and when we're above 1.1, there's a multiplier applied for every zero point 0.1 more above peg. There's a chart in our docs that gives the exact breakdown of how the multipliers work. But then you're actually getting more EMP. So again, these aren't the exact numbers, but just for math sake, if you had 1,000 EMP, you bought 1,000 bonds, and now when you redeem those bonds, you actually get 1,100 EMP back. So you're actually getting more EMP back. So that's how the bonds work. But the downside to bonds is that, unless we're back over peg substantially, they're a bit illiquid. So, if you just redeem your bonds when we're above peg, you can still do that, but you're not getting any bonus from it. So, but you're always able to redeem. It's just a little bit of a bummer if they're not liquid, or if we're below peg for an extended amount of time. So nodes are, again, a little bit more. You're not really getting a bonus per se, but you're able to get more EMP out of it. And again, right now, the initial ROI I think is about 1 or 2 months, which is insane. Again, I mean, no other investment is gonna give you your ROI in that short amount of time. So, but nodes are, again, really, really attractive. Even if you're not in nodes or don't have liquid EMP, it's a great way to help the protocol and a gateway drug, so to speak, into EMP, because you buy EMP off the market, you help us get closer to peg, you put that in a node, and now you're off to the races. So, all right, again, just wanted to kind of recap on all that. But all right, any other questions or comments or anything anybody wants me to go further into?
Hey, AJ, it's Josh. I have a question if you guys got time.
Yeah, Josh, how are you, brother? Good to have you.
Hey, I'm good, thanks. I actually just wanted to revisit something that I think was talked about in the past, and a lot of people, I think, have kind of had the fear of it, with the terms of like selling tax on EMP. Have you guys, thought any more about that and using that to kind of bolster the treasury to help in these scenarios where maybe you do have some really high value whales that are just tanking the protocol?
For sure. So, again, the reason. So, again, let me give a little bit of background, then we can go into more detail with what you're saying. So, the base protocol of 𝘠𝘠𝘪, which is we're a fork of 𝘠𝘠𝘪, which is a seigniorage project, and what that means is basically the way the economics work is controlled inflation. So EMP does not have a maximum supply. eShare does, our share token, but EMP is emitted based on a few different factors that are hard coded and basically the law that cannot be altered. So what this does is, again, it's the same concept that large the Federal Reserve or other government agencies use to print money, but we're able to do it in a much more responsible manner, and instead of wasteful spending or the infrastructure costs that go into governments that print their own money, we are able to give those rewards to the owners of the platform, basically. So everybody that participates is then rewarded. So the reason I go into all that is because originally there was a tax on sales in the original 𝘠𝘠𝘪 fork, the 𝘠𝘠𝘪 code. But when we forked it, we actually removed that feature, because what happened was there was a way to essentially sell the native token and not incur that tax. And what happened was when that happened, there was essentially a run on the bank, which what meant that everybody dumped in panic, and it was again, the snowball analogy. It was a snowball effect that really dumped the platform, and 𝘠𝘠𝘪 really was on the brink of not recovering. So again, a lot happened with them. They had a big billionaire come in and revitalize the project. But at the end of the day, I think taxes are a way of kind of lazy economics. I think taxes are, again, in Detonator or in things that we have a lot more control of, taxes are great. But in the overall protocol that, buying and selling of a native token, I've just never really been a fan of taxes, not only from an exploit perspective, but again, just from a lazy economic perspective. So the harder way to do things, but the better way, in my opinion, is to actually create use cases and burn mechanics for the EMP. So again, that's where nodes come into play. That's where some of our future use cases and contracts come into play. But the short answer is, no. I mean, I don't even think we can technically implement it if we wanted to now as far as tax, because I think that was forked out of our original code completely. And even if we had the ability to do that, we wouldn't do it at that point. It would be mainly taxes that apply to contracts that you're going in and out of moving forward. So does that answer, Josh?
Yeah, 100% does. And I mean, I like that there's not taxes. It really helps those of us that are not trying to do harm, to be able to like move it up.
Well,
I was just trying.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but that's a great point, man. So again, taxes are not, the taxes don't know if you're a good actor or a bad actor. So if we implemented those, then it really does hurt, people that are in it for the right reasons, because no matter what, you're getting taxed. So, and again, I mean, people said, well, why don't you do, a max sell? I mean, stuff like that is so easy to get around. You just transfer to another wallet, and scammers and bad actors are going to do, everything they can to exploit. So at the end of the day, it's up to us as a community to combat them and their actions. And there's a great, Matthew, I don't know if he's on the call or not, but he had a great strategy on how to combat the yield wolf dumping. Again, if you time your buys around when epochs end, typically there is a built-in dump that happens after epoch. So if you're looking to enter the protocol, or at least load up on your bags, punish those that are dumping by buying at the floor when they dump. So and same with eShare. I mean, a lot of people have been dumping EMP to buy eShare, but when you do that and we're not printing in the boardroom, then eShare is not as valuable. So like right now, eShare is on a dip. So it would be a much better idea to purchase eShare, rather than dumping EMP for it. So again, those are just some strategies that we can implement as a community, and that does help combat the bad actors. And at the end of the day, it is DeFi, and we would never implement a blacklist or anything like that. Again, we don't have the ability to do that, let alone want to entertain that. But yeah, we just have to work on, again, moving as a herd and moving in the right direction. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh,
Yeah.
oh, could I explain why like projects have high tax?
Yeah, go ahead, Bull. Absolutely.
So a big reason, a lot of projects, and you definitely see it with like really high circulation coins. They have a high tax because, number one, they have to use that to combat inflation. The developers have a vested wallet, and so if they purposely overinflate the supply so that they can have an amount, a large bag, so that they can pay for like development, advertising, etc. And they need another function of that high taxes to give reflection. So you probably didn't see really high taxes until like reflection appeared on contracts. And reflection is a way to give back, to the community, but reflection is also, no pun intended, but it's a reflection of the value. The coin doesn't have any real value, and so it has a built-in 2% reflection or 3% to give back to the token holders. because it has like actual no utility and no value. And so it's done to, like I said, combat inflation, but also so that they can have mechanisms so that instead of overinflating, which they already do, but part of it will go to the developer wallet so that they can pay for like advertising, hiring other people in the event their coin or token takes off. And so like whenever you look at any token that has like high reflection, or excuse me, high tax, you'll usually see something like, it's 10% or 12%. There will be a 2 or 3% reflection that goes to token holders. Sometimes like in your own wallet, but sometimes they require them to be able to hold your tokens, and then you get the reflection. But the other, 10 or 8% of it goes to the actual developers, because there's no actual real value that's being created. And so they have to manufacture or tax wealth from people that are transacting in the tokens. And in most cases, you're never going to see the tax that you pay, to get in a high like slippage or a high taxed project, even if they have 2 or 3% reflection, you're never going to see that recouped through reflection. You'll only see it through price appreciation. So you can actually end up losing both in, like if the price never moved and you sold, you're going to pay that high tax in and out, and you're never going to recoup that 2 or 3% reflection that you're going to see for holding. And those are some of the reasons that they do have high tax.
Totally, and that also complicates things from a code perspective. So in other words, like, eventually we want to be able to have a syrup pool or be partners in other yield farms to add use case to EMP. And if there was an inherent reflection, that really narrows what platforms you can even be involved in. So again, the whole tax system is it works for some projects, but I think again the harder, and I hate to keep saying it, but the taxes are very lazy. Like the better way and the more solid economic way of doing it is implementing use case and burn mechanics. So rather than again an inherent tax, it's about having an entry fee or an exit fee that burns that EMP on subsequent contracts. So and Detonator is a whole other animal. Again, we have an entry fee into that that would be essentially a tax, and even like compounding and claiming are taxed, but those taxes don't affect the actual principal. Those taxes affect the time of the ROI. So those are again much different, and again just better economics overall. And yeah, so that's a great discussion though, Josh. Thank you for bringing that up, and it's what sets us apart. I mean, again, the whole tax thing was meant as a failsafe for Tomb originally, and again, in situations like this, where they're below peg, you turn on the tax, and it basically incentivizes people and not to dump even more. But in practice, it doesn't really work that way, because no matter what, whether there's a tax or not, if somebody wants to dump, they're dumping. Like there's nothing that you're going to do to change their mind. You can only try to educate and give opportunities for them to earn more than dumping. So yeah, awesome discussion. So all right, yeah.
I just wanted. I've heard it before. I just didn't actually. It never quite registered the way it just did. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to break it down like that, because both points of view, yours and what Bull was saying, I now have a much better idea, and I actually love EMP even more that it's built away.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. The tax in EMP is to bolster the treasury because they're a participant. So there's no reason, for them to have to overinflate or print off more, which effectively drives down the value of the token. So in a high tax system, right? They're not a participant. They're a taxer. They're not they're not really, you're not in the same pool with them per se. They have their own pool and they have all the benefits. Here, the treasury is in the same boat as you. And so if like in Detonator, the contract rolls over and it goes to the contract, it's actually a better use to some degree than if you had it, because they can put to use like the ability to move capital in a more effective manner than you, right? Like, look at it from like this example, like if 1,000 people gained $1 and they went to like a YouTuber and they all offered $1, that's to advertise EMP. The dollar by 1,000 people doesn't have the same impact as the team going there, and so I talk a lot. I'm not a team member, but the team going to a YouTuber and saying, hey, here's $1,000, we'd like you to talk about the platform, right? The value of the community doing it is 1,000 people, then it's a potential 1,000 subs, but the dollar, 1,000 $1 bills is not the same as $1,000 in just one lump sum. The impact is different, so the capital can be wielded in a much more effective and efficient manner by the Treasury.
Absolutely, and that's the only quote unquote missing puzzle piece right now, is having a massive treasury. So right now we have about 100K in our treasury, which is amazing even as it is. I mean, we spent about 400K since inception on EMP buybacks and advertising and all sorts of stuff that have helped us get to where we are. But the missing piece in all this is a massive treasury that again can sustain, and we use what's referred to as hypothecation, where our treasury is actually able to produce yield, and that's basically, I know Bull said it earlier, or it may have been yesterday, but dead money. I mean, the idea is that no matter whether it's your personal funds or a treasury or whatever, you always want your crypto or money in any sense of the word to be making you more money and more crypto. So the idea is that we have a large treasury of cash reserves that we're able to use hypothecation, which is a fancy word for basically putting that money to use in low risk stable farms. Right now, a lot of it is in the Terra Luna network, in the Anchor protocol, and the larger the treasury, even at a 20 or 30% yield, which is barely anything in the grand scheme of things. In the traditional world, it's amazing, but in the crypto world, it's not that great. But again, it's risk and it's a matter of risk. And so my point to all that is, if we can build our treasury to 1, 2, 3, 10 million bucks, and then be able to have a steady yield on that treasury, that is fresh capital that is then put back into the EMP ecosystem, without ever having to worry about somebody buying or selling EMP ever, because it's a whole other mechanic that brings in fresh yield or fresh capital into the system. So again, if I say if, but when we can implement that, because it's not a matter of if. I mean, we're going to do everything we can to make it happen. And once our treasury is that big, then literally this could be one of the most powerful DeFi platforms that's been ever created. So we're super excited about all that. And yeah, again, that dovetails perfect into, again, the contract we're working on now, and even the next 2 or 3 contracts down the road, that, again, just create not only earning potential for our users, but also, bolstering the treasury. So, awesome. All right, guys, I have about 15 more minutes. I have another team call at 9 my time, so it's about 15 more minutes. But I'm happy to hang out a little bit longer. Anybody else have any questions or comments? If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment, or if you're not wanting to speak, you can type it into the Telegram as well.
Hey, AG.
Hey, who is this?
This is CoinQuest on Telly.
Hey, CoinQuest, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, thanks. So I came a little late and I missed the last couple of AMAs, unfortunately. So I apologize if you've covered this already, and your patience is extraordinary.
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just you know what? I saw your post in the Discord about the boardroom yield farm pushing down the peg, and I'm just wondering if we've if there's any plans or made any traction in having conversations with YieldWolf on that farm specifically.
For sure. So we have reached out to YieldWolf, and again, I don't want to give the wrong impression. YieldWolf has been great. Again, they listed us in their farms. I mean, without us even really, establishing a partnership to begin with, and that helped us really grow substantially in the beginning. And the reason that we would want to partner with a third-party platform like that is twofold. So, number one, it brings in new eyeballs and, again, gets us exposure to their community. But number two, it really, it reduces the counterparty risk. So, again, I mean, we've kind of proven ourselves as a development team now. But in the beginning, I mean, we're in the same boat as everybody else. It's like, is this project legit? I mean, are they going to rug or whatever? So the idea is that you partner with a third-party platform that, again, spreads out the counterparty risk. So all that being said, I mean, it's kind of run its course, for lack of a better word. And that means that, again, I think we can bring the actual yield, the compounder, back home, and have it part of our actual platform. And this helps two ways. So it allows us to keep things a little bit more in-house, meaning we're not confusing people by telling them to go to this site and go to that site, and go into that pool, but don't go into this other pool. Like, it gets really convoluted. So by having it on our platform, it's all there, and we have a little more control in that aspect. And then number two is we would be able to keep some of the fees. Now, YieldWolf is very, very reasonable in their fees. I think it's like 0.03% or something like that. But with a lot of volume, I mean, that adds up. And again, we would love to be able to have those fees go to our treasury rather than a third-party site. So the idea is that, again, we try to do an auto compounder in-house. We still recommend the EMP LP pool on YieldWolf. Again, if you guys are in there, that's a great pool. That helps our protocol because it dumps eShare for more EMP LP, which is a very healthy thing. So by all means, stay in that until we can get ours up and running, because you're better off to be in that than you are, not in that. And again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. We never suggest going all in on the auto compounder because, God forbid, they do get hacked. You at least have some of your bag in the normal yield farms on our own platform. They're just not automatically compounded for you. So yeah, that kind of is an overview of all that. And did that answer your question? Oh, I'm sorry, Cohen. You also said about the negative boardroom. So we have been in touch with them, but unfortunately, again, I mean, this is DeFi, and teams are able to write whatever code and whatever contracts they want. We haven't heard back from them specifically yet, but if we do, we'll try to work something out. But again, they call it their masonry vaults, and it's basically an auto compounder for the boardroom. And right now, it doesn't really matter because the boardroom isn't printing anyway. But when the boardroom prints and you're involved in that pool, it does the absolute worst thing that can happen, and that is dump all the EMP on the market and then compound back into more eShare. So again, that's not what you want to be doing, and we are trying to educate the public. And I mean, when we did that post, almost about 50 grand worth of eShare came out of that boardroom in their vault. So again, I think it did have an effect. by educating people. There's a lot less in that now. And some people are just APR chasers, so they may not be in our Telegram, they may not even care about EMP, they're just on 𝘰𝘠𝘢𝘯𝘕 and chasing whatever boardroom has the highest APR, and there's nothing that we can do about that, unfortunately. So, does that make sense, Coin?
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. Appreciate it, AJ.
For sure, brother. Thank you, and glad to have you back, man. I know, I remember you from weeks ago, man, so glad to have you back.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, killer. So yeah, I got time for one or two more here. Again, I have to wrap it up by about 9. But we'll do this every day. I'm going to try to figure out how to actually do a screen capture without showing you guys my 500 open tabs. I know if you're a crypto user, you can relate. And there's like 500 open tabs I have. So I'm trying to figure out how to screen capture in a window. So if any of you are familiar with OBS, shoot me a DM on how to do that. But I'll be able to show you my screen tomorrow or later this week. Mike, one of our other team members, Crypto Mike, Player One Signals, he has an awesome YouTube channel. He's our resident video guy. So when he gets back into town, we'll be able to upgrade our production quality for sure. But he's in Dubai, again, making some amazing contacts, not only for his community, but also for us here at EMP, with marketing partnerships and some other really great networking that he's doing over there. So, all right, anybody else? Questions, comments? One or two more. All right, somebody suggested maybe doing a Twitter space. So, yeah, we would love to do that. I mean, again, especially since we have a nice Twitter following, I'll just have to do some research into that. So, I don't really know what that is. If we, I'm assuming it's like an AMA on Twitter. So let me do some research. I'll give a Demi about that. Demi is our social media guy on the team. So yeah, and if any of you know are experts at Twitter Spaces, shoot me a DM as well. But yeah, we're always looking to have exposure in different areas. Again, we also have some other AMAs we're working on as far as different caller groups. We've had some great success with AMAs in the past, and we're going to be exploring that for sure. So. All right, anybody else? One more final call. Questions, comments? All right, well, I appreciate all you guys and gals. Again, this is EMP.Money. We'll be doing this every day, about an hour rollover live stream of our Detonator contract. Please make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Again, even if you're here in Telegram, make sure that you open up another window and just have that streaming in the background. That will help us with the algorithm and get things out to new people. And the idea is that we'll grow our live lottery drawing every day on YouTube to be, something special. So again, just like these other scammers that do live streams and tell you to send Bitcoin in and you get 2 Bitcoin back. Again, those are all bullshit, but we're going to take that same approach and actually do some giveaways and help to grow our audience and again get EMP exposed to a whole new audience. So we're doing everything we can to again think outside the box, so to speak, and continue to move forward with EMP. And we're doing it calculated. I mean, we don't want to blow up too big too soon. I know that's probably weird to hear a project say, but if we blow up too fast, it could potentially be harmful to the system as well. So we don't want to encourage a pump and dump or people getting in and not understanding what we're doing, because then it wrecks them as well. So we're not here to wreck anybody. We're here to grow our community and grow the project very organically. So, all right, well, that'll wrap it up, guys. Thanks again, and again, be nice to the peg. Buy some more EMP off the market. That will help, and go into nodes or bonds, and we'll do it all over again tomorrow. So, all right, good night, good day, and see you soon.